Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. My clock shows it's 7:01 PM. And for roll call in the room here present, we have Nikki, Dave, Brian, and Rob.
That's it.
I don't see,
Steve called me earlier and said that he would do his best to be here on Zoom.
He's on his computer, he's probably.
Okay, and Larry will not be joining us. I'll cover that under correspondence. Approval of the minutes is the next item. To approval of minutes from our 3/14/24 special meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Dave has the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Nikki has the second. Any discussions, changes, comments, alterations to the meeting minutes of 3/14? Okay, hearing none, all in favor of approving the minutes as submitted, say aye.
I,
Aye, opposed? Okay. The meeting minutes are approved. Item number 3,
Now,
correspondence. We have the tax collector's report. That was sent out, I think late last week, maybe
Yeah.
early this
Mhm.
week. If you had a chance to look at that, if you didn't get it, let me know.
Yep.
Looks like we're tracking ahead of prior year, which is always a good thing
Mhm.
from a collection standpoint. Any other correspondence? We did get your report, Bill, your update, but since this is a regular meeting, and we did last week as well, we had an opportunity for selectmen, superintendent and finance updates. So we'll get to that in a little bit. Anything else? I did receive a letter from Eric, two letters from Erica Grow, who's the chairman of the Democratic Town Committee. The first letter indicated that Larry Gillott is resigned as of the 17th or 18th. I'll push that out to the group. And they've selected a replacement, which is customary for the
Mhm.
town committee to select a replacement.
Yeah.
That's not on our agenda this week, but since it was correspondence, I wanted to share it with everyone.
Thank you.
Okay.
I reached out to her to have a phone call and a discussion. And then it's up to this body to vote in that new member. So that may happen, it may or may not be on the agenda next week. We'll see after I have a discussion with Erica. Any other correspondence? Okay, Dottie will bring Stephen if he joins. I didn't mention, but for the record, there's just the 4 of us.
yes,
Yeah, okay. Item number 4 is citizen comments, and we'll start in the room, then we'll go online and give everybody on Zoom an opportunity as well. But are there any citizen comments in the room? Just a reminder, during the budget season, we try to keep these to 3 minutes. Are there any citizen comments? Yes, could you please state your name and your address for the record? please?
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Brian Santos, 77 Hagstrom Road. Just gonna keep it real simple tonight. Rough numbers, rough percentages, $29 million was the budget last year. That would equate to, and then the education budget was around $20 million. So that's 70% of the budget is education, right? And the town was roughly about 7 million, so that's 30%. The budget. I'm hoping the amount of time that is dedicated to reviewing the school budget at 70% and the town 30%. It seems like that would be the appropriate ratio for the discussion. I've seen in like last year, there was left about 1 hour for discussing of the school budget, and that ratio doesn't seem right to me. So I just think that process is broken. And in regards to the school budget, unless I'm misunderstanding something, you might not be able to direct or tell the school a value or suggest a value on individual items. But you can ask the school questions on why they requested such items and to be well informed. Melinda comes here every single meeting. I'm sure she could get the answers for you. Again, the school budget is about 70%. So spend the appropriate time discussing it. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Mr. Chair, Mr. Herbert has entered the meeting at 7:05.
Okay, welcome, Steve, 7:05 PM. Any other citizen comments this time? Good evening, Kaylee. Kaylee Beck also joined at 7:05. Any citizen comments on Zoom? Any citizen comments on Zoom this evening? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to new business. The first item in new business is to consider the BOS request for $41,215.49 for elevator repairs at the town hall. Amy, do you have anything to add to that for the BOS?
No, obviously, I think if you recall, these amounts started a lot higher with our elevator, the company that we've contracted for maintenance. I was able to talk them down to half the amount they originally started with. In addition to that, they're taking off of the service call for coming to inspect the elevator and giving us a quote. So there's that amount, which was the $37,330.49 less $1,585. Also in that amount that we're requesting is $3,600 for the repair to the roof over the mechanical room. And then the electrical panel within the elevator control room needs to be completely replaced. And that's at a total of $1,870. So those are the estimates. We have already paid for the roof, but it has put the repair fund, the town hall repair fund, into a negative balance.
Right.
So it pushed us beyond where, and is keeping us from doing a couple of the things we had planned for town hall maintenance. So just keep that in mind.
Okay, and so I'm clear, or we're clear, there's really three elements that make up the 41,215.
Correct.
It's the roof repair, electrical repair, and the actual elevator repair, which is the dominant piece of it.
Correct.
Okay. Any discussion among the group? Bill, this would come from contingency.
Wiping it out, pretty much.
Yeah, that would pretty much take us down to nothing.
Okay,
You want a motion?
I would,
I'll make a motion to authorize the selectmen to appropriate $41,215 and I'll round up to 50 cents because I'm in a generous mood today. 49 cents for the appropriate repairs to the town hall
I'll second that.
to be taken from contingency.
Steve has the second, Ryan has the motion. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, hearing none, and since we're spending money, we'll go around the room counterclockwise. Brian, how do you?
Yes.
vote? Dave,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes,
Nikki?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes, so this will pass 5-0.
Thank you.
Any other new business? Item 6, optional updates from the Board of Selectmen, Board of Ed and Finance. We'll start with the Board of Selectmen, Amy St. Ange.
I don't have a tremendous amount to share. We are in the final stages of union negotiations. I'm hoping to have totals for this board next week. And then additionally, something I wanted to just bring to everybody's attention. A couple weeks ago at our March 2nd Board of Selectmen meeting, we opened up bids for the salt storage facility. What we thought would possibly come in at 1.5 million came in at the lowest 1.7 million and at the highest nearly 2.6 million, well out of the budget of the money that we had put aside with the ARPA funds. So The building committee is having a special meeting next week. They're going to be interviewing the two lower bidders, the lowest bidders, just to glean some information and set a course for where we can go from here, because it is a necessary project. So it's nothing we can get away from correcting in some way, but now it's just trying to determine where we go. So those are the only two updates I have at this time. Thankful that it hasn't been snowing, so that's saving some money for the town.
Thank you, Amy. Any questions for Amy? Okay, hearing none. Next up, a Board of Ed Superintendent.
Hello, just a couple of things. On March 5th and 6th, Turtle Out Memorial High School had the first phase of our NEASC accreditation. It was a 2-day on-site visit from a team of 5 individuals that came and looked at our school. It's a preliminary look-see at curriculum and all of the standards related to NEASC accreditation. We had a very favorable feedback. We won't get the official report from that 2-day assessment until July. However, Kelly Langer spoke at the last meeting last week. There is a critical area that is going to be addressed in that report, and it's about community support and resources for the school. That's an area that they targeted throughout the feedback session. So just want to put that on the table, that that report will be coming out, and in the critical area, it'll be lack of resources, primarily due to some staffing and other issues at the school. So it's all about Peter Pan this weekend. We have 3 performances. We have our wonderful Smee right here at the end of the table, Kaylee Back. And you remember Kaylee from last year. She was in the lead for Mary Poppins. We have a performance tomorrow night at 7, one at 2 on Saturday, and one at 7 on Saturday. We hope the community comes out and supports our students. We have students, over 70 students in that performance, from preschool all the way to grade 12. It'll be a fun weekend.
Okay.
Nice job.
Thank you, Melinda. Any questions
job.
from Melinda?
No, nice job this morning on Winnie, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Any questions for Melinda? I don't have a question. I have a quick comment. I have a quick comment to share with the board. Last Friday, I sat in along with some other members in town, some other board, commission, selectmen. They had the leadership roundtable for the students. It's the 2nd annual. I think Heather Santos put it on. I was absolutely blown away. I mean, really, these kids are amazing. They all did their research around all the boards. They shared their research. They stood up and presented in front of everyone. It was really terrific, Melinda. I mean,
I'm proud of those kids.
I'm proud of them too. I was just absolutely blown away. And they asked us in the end what we learned as we went around the table. And I said, well, clearly I learned, you know, the folks that are in town offices today aren't getting any younger. So now I know we're the next group of leaders for Thompson. I hope you guys continue that. That was really, really.
Oh, I
fantastic.
think Mrs. Santos would love to expand it even more, so, yeah.
Very well done. Very, very well.
She did, between Heather Santos and Cindy Willett, the coordination there was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was terrific. Very well done by everyone, and really impressed by the young leaders, the young student leaders. They were great. Bill, over to you. Finance update.
I had sent around the financial report for February. I'll just go over it very quickly. Property taxes. We are currently at 19.7 million, 95% of budget. State and federal grants, 4.2 million received year to date. That's 55% of the annual budget. But remember, the other 45% of that is really the second payment on the education cost sharing grant, which just simply isn't due yet. So we're actually on track there. Local revenue continues to track ahead of expectations, primarily because as we've mentioned in past meetings, the reimbursement for the school security grant is in miscellaneous income at the time. And investment income it continues to stay strong based on higher rates. Expenses committed, we're at 6.7 million, approximately 76.1% of the full year budget. And a quick audit update, the auditors expect to get us the draft financials to review on Monday, and they're expecting to be in on Thursday's meeting to present. They may be presenting a substantially complete draft at that point, and that's just part of the timing with trying to get everything filed by the end of March. But that was their update from this afternoon.
So you'll see a draft Monday.
Right.
It sounds like we should very much include it in our agenda for the
Right.
28th.
Exactly.
How much time will they need?
They usually take about half an hour. Yeah, about a half an hour.
And any sneak preview so far, all thumbs up?
So far.
You're
things
sleeping
are
good at night, Bill?
Good. We're working through some grant related questions up at the school.
Okay,
It's part of just the normal grant testing that they do. But on the financial statement side, I mean, the one item that I'm sure you'll hear about is the surplus position. Being at roughly 5.5%. Versus a 16% guidance, and I think they'll probably add some color around what that means if it slides any lower in terms of state oversight, but that's something that the auditors are gonna inform us a little bit more on
and
next week.
bond rating,
Yep, true.
which is the topic right now.
That is pretty relevant.
Okay. Anything else, Bill?
That's it. I obviously have some items budget related if
We'll kick you off
later
there.
on.
Kick you off there. Any questions for Bill? Steve, are you trying to jump in?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, your box went yellow, so I thought you were.
Oh, I don't know why.
Okay, if there's no questions for Bill. We can move on to budget workshop. I'm gonna toss it back to Bill, but real quick before I do, from a scheduling standpoint, we have, one more Thursday meeting, which is next Thursday. That would be our third standalone. So we did 4 joint meetings. This is our second standalone meeting. Next week will be our third. The following week, and we don't need to decide tonight, we can decide next week. So the following week, which should be the first week of April, we've set aside Tuesday, Thursday. If we want, we can continue with Thursday, push it another week, or we can start to double up. Beyond that, we have plenty of dates in April available. But we can address that next week and see where we are, maybe by the close of the 28th. That would be after our third session.
And
Does that sound?
Mr. Chair, just a reminder too, that next Thursday's meeting will be at the library,
That's,
community, room 2.
that's true.
And if you have one on April 2nd, it will also have to be there.
That's right. We're moving to the library next week. And April 2nd would be the
Correct.
same. Yep. Okay. That's just a scheduling formalities. So we'll meet at the library. We finish tonight, obviously.
And again, 7 o'clock, correct?
7 o'clock, yep. 7
Will you-
o'clock, on the 28th at the library.
Zoom.
It'll be hybrid,
Okay.
yes. And then we'll decide, we'll kind of re-rack the balance of the schedule, after that. At the end of that meeting. Okay, moving to budget workshop. We are, I thought we made really good progress last week. I'm gonna think part of it might have been chalked up to sitting in the 4 joint meetings. I feel that way. I asked a lot fewer questions personally, but we were pretty well informed coming in. Bill, this is an update from last week. We
Yes.
talked about these weekly.
Right.
Thank you very much. And maybe before we get back into page by page, I think you had a few comments for the group.
Right.
So over to you.
I wanted to get back to the board with answers to their questions that came out of the last meeting, and 2 of these will possibly require action before we get started. Dave, you had asked about the dog fund balance. We are at $19,010 at the moment. That may strike people as down quite a bit from the past. I'd like to remind everyone that the budget for the last 3 years, and we have budgeted for next year, has included a transfer from the dog fund over to the general fund. So $21,000 of that decrease has been driven by transfers over to the general fund to offset canine operation amounts.
Over what
Keep it
period? Sorry,
Over
over
the
what
last
period?
3 years.
21,000 over a 3-year
Right.
period.
Yep.
And any replenishment coming back in.
Is roughly 3,000, maybe a little bit more per year, and that's a combination of donations and adoption fees and the like.
Thank you.
Dave, you had asked a question about ACO hours and logging. We do have her report available for you. It's a little tricky to share publicly because there's a lot of personal information in there with some folks. But to boil it down quickly, the ACO was averaging approximately 25 calls a month. So just over one per workday, I would think. And it is very busy. So that report is available offline. Rob, you had asked for a refresh of the electricity analysis. This is one of the items that the board may consider action on before we move to going back to the budget. I did analysis based on every electric account on the town. And the way I did this work, I used the rate that we've negotiated in the shared contract. And then I grew the delivery portion of the bills at 20%, which is the best I could find for what Eversource seems to be looking for right now. The product of that analysis was a little bit of a reshuffling of the deck between departments, but net it all out, it's about a $4,000 savings. So that's something we may want to consider in a moment. There was a question regarding interest cost on the loader over the course of a 5-year versus a 7-year lease. At 5 years, the interest cost is $60,000, and at over 7 years, it's $107,000. Valerie Clark had requested that we color code the offsetting revenue and expense items in the budget. Just for the record, those include the emergency management vehicle, the loan proceeds for the referendum items, the Turtle Lot Trust funds, and the national opioid monies that we are using to fund Teague, United Services in total and Teague partially. You'll see as we go through the budget, I've highlighted each of those line items in a green color, so they're more easily identifiable. The last item I'd like to propose, and this is the second item the board may consider action on. I revisited the adjustment we were making to the allowance for uncollectible taxes. And we compared that to where we were actually, we actually do a little bit better than the suggested 2%. So I kicked it around a little bit with the tax office today, and we think we can offer back, we had proposed a $90,000 adjustment. We think we could probably knock that down to $45,000 this year. So that has the same effect on the budget as an expense cut or a revenue increase. If the board so chooses, I have worked those two changes into the model already. So if you would like to make a motion and accept them, the model has been adjusted already. If not, I would just need a moment to remove them.
I had a quick question. What did you described the electric? What was the process to get to the $4,000?
So,
Was it a gut check? Or
no,
was it?
I can, just a moment.
And then I think we need to know, there's a lot of line items with electricity, so we
Yes,
we might need to know where.
and
Now you divvied up the
Yeah.
4,000, so we
Yep.
can make the
and,
motion.
and actually, this one's a little crowded, but.
There you go, Brian.
What you see here are
Do
all
you need
of
to
the
sit
electric
closer?
accounts in the town.
Yeah.
The different colors are the different
That's
departments.
what I'm gonna stand up there and look at.
So this is Town Hall, K-9, Public Works, Transfer Station, and Library and Community Center. This is the development of the 2025 rate. This is the supply portion. This is the delivery portion. This is the total rate. So the adjustment by account is $5,000 decrease to Town Hall, a $500 increase to K9, and that's because if you recall, we switched over to a mini split over there. So the heat is now essentially electric, so there's more electricity usage. Public Works would actually go up by $3,495. Transfer station would come down by 1,000, and library would come down by 1,000. So all of that nets to a savings of $4,004.
Library 1,000 or two?
Did I say four? I'm sorry.
You
two.
said one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You haven't
Transfer
trouble seeing-
station is
you having trouble
one.
seeing it?
And libraries too. So all of that nets to a savings of $4,000. Those have been, so those are the accounts that they hit.
Mhm.
And they have been incorporated into, for example, libraries here with a $2,000 change.
Okay,
So if we,
yes, once,
I'll
Yes,
make a
Dave.
motion that we approve the reductions in the listed categories in the amount of $4,000
for electricity.
for electricity. Yes, thank you.
I'll second.
And Nikki has the second. Any discussion on the motion to reduce the line items as presented by Bill Steglitz for the electrical reduction? Any questions or discussion? Okay, hearing none. Brian had, oh, Steve, did you have a comment?
Nope, nope,
Brian, how do you vote?
Yes,
Dave?
Yes,
Steve, how do you vote?
yes,
Nikki?
Yes,
And Rob will vote yes, so that'll pass 5-0.
so the adjustment for the allowance for uncollected taxes, I've reduced each bucket by 22,500 to total 255,000. In the past, that was 210,000. You'll recall we had increased it by 90,000 to go to 300,000, but refreshing that analysis with the tax department, we think it's reasonable to come back at $255,000. This change and the electricity change lowers the proposed mill rate from the 28.56 that you had coming out of the last meeting to 28.50, so 0.06 mil.
and you're comfortable reducing it that much?
Yes, because of the work we did today to look at where we trend compared to. To the guidance. Now-
The trends would indicate that will be okay with that number,
That would,
because our
Should cover
uncollectible
us,
is
right.
much better than.
Right.
Than,
next year, I'd like well, I think we should repeat this analysis every year. For whatever reason, it seems like that hadn't been done for a number of years and we were staying at the 210, sort of, I guess, arbitrarily. But it's worth a refresh every year.
so we'll be going from 210 to 255, so we're
Right.
moving it by 45, just
Right.
not the full net.
Exactly.
Okay, if we
You're
elect
right,
to
if
do
you
that,
do.
okay.
Yes, I'll take the motion of reduction of uncollected taxes in the amount of 45,000, taken each from education then and general town.
Okay, Dave has the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Brian seconds the motion. Any discussion on this motion? Questions, discussion, debate? Hearing none. Brian, how do you vote?
Yes,
Dave?
Yes,
Steve?
yes,
Nikki?
yes.
And Rob, I'll vote yes as well. It passes 5-0. Keep going, Bill.
Unfortunately, that's all I've got.
Okay. Bill's out. All right. Thank you, Bill. So next up is open for discussion. We could go back through. We went through the full down deck last week. I and maybe others went back through and made further notes or comments, so we can go back in order. Or if folks have a place that they want to go to, we said we could revisit anything, so we could jump around or go back through in order. I'm not wed to either way.
I would like to reconsider the loader, I believe, in cap.
Okay, let's go to the loader. So that's in the end of the book, page 53, I believe. Yes, Steve.
After looking at the interest spent for the 7 year, I believe was somewhere in the neighborhood of 107,000. I would recommend that we go to a 5-year lease with a cost of 62,000 per year. I believe, as I had mentioned last week, that would in fact be no cost in the current budget that we are working on, but would be reflected in the following year because of the order and delivery situation.
Right.
So that would actually save the full amount. Well, you've adjusted that already?
No, right now, what's in here for the loader reflects the 7-year lease.
Okay, that's what I mean.
Yep.
That's in there.
That's what we voted on.
So
We voted on that last.
I would recommend that we go to a 5-year lease, saving, in that case, it would be 51,000, which I believe you have in there,
Right, correct.
and go to the 5-year lease at a cost of 62,000, which will be eliminated in the budget we're working on. If Bill may want to clarify that thought.
Okay,
So, following the discussion on the loader last week, Joe looked into the timing, the lead time is over a year.
okay, so it's not a maybe that it might come in at the end of the year.
Works
It's
well.
spilling into 2026.
Yes.
Okay,
Even last year's, if I may add, Mr. Chair, last year's 9-ton was potentially supposed to come in April and now it's pushed off to September. So,
I remember the 9-ton discussion, like
And
it was yesterday.
in addition, Bill, I believe we have a couple of leases that will
Yeah.
be phasing out.
I
Yes.
think
It's 95,
95,000,
right?
Yeah,
Right.
that's right. Okay, so if we make this, take the recommendation to a motion, the total cost of the town would actually drop by 47,000 in terms of in terms of interest expense.
Right, however, it would move to 2026 in entirety.
That's correct,
Which would be the 62,
right?
based on the 95 reduction, which we are looking ahead at.
That's
So
right.
it actually leaves us a positive in that
Yeah.
item
That's correct.
or line item, at
That's
least.
correct. Okay. Seems like a wise move to me.
I
Less
would
interest
move
expense.
to that
You
effect.
moving that to a motion, Dave?
Yes,
I'll second that.
Okay, so the motion is to take the loader, change the loader from the 7-year lease to a 5-year lease. And confirming that the lease expense would begin sometime in fiscal 26.
Correct.
Which means the 51,000 that's currently in the budget this year would go to zero.
Mhm.
I'm just reframing it, Dave.
That's
That's
correct.
okay. Did you catch all that, Dottie? That was a run-on sentence for those on the education side. And it was seconded by Nikki. Is there any discussion or questions or clarifications on that? Okay, hearing none. Brian, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dave, how do you vote?
Yes,
Steve, how do you vote?
Yes,
Nikki?
Yes,
Yes, and Rob, I'll vote yes. That also passes 5-0. Anything else from Dave or anyone else?
I was looking at contingency fund in the
Yeah.
same basic area.
Yes,
Uh,
it's on page
52.
52, one back. Yes,
And I believe that was increased by $20,000 due to a job situation,
Mhm.
which had been removed from the budget, but was still in the planning stages. I would recommend that we reduce contingency by $20,000.
Refresh me what the 20 was for.
So we had removed an assistant to the land use department. It was a trial, it was a recommended position by one of the former department heads who has since left the position. And, the Board of Selectmen felt that in hiring a new wetlands agent and conservation agent, we may need the extra money to get a qualified candidate. So they took the money that was applied for the assistant and thought, let's put something in contingency in case we need more to find a qualified staff person.
When are you're filling the position this year, Amy?
We are,
You're hoping to, yeah.
yeah.
But we're still looking at a significant increase in that,
Even with the 20 reduction.
even with the 20
That's
reduction.
correct.
Yep.
So
I
do you
don't-
feel like we can still cover
think-
the need without,
Well, Bill always thinks there's not enough in contingency.
that's why I looked at you.
Which
You're in a
I
giving mood today, though.
but
I was like in the 64,000, you know, we could go there.
Well, I was being generous, Brian.
But yes, we hope to fill the position before the end of the year, so, yeah, I don't know if that's any help in making the decision.
Well, if we moved it from 110 to 90 and you make that decision, then there's another 20 that's gone, so we're really at 70, which is close to 64. We're not at 70, but in reality, that's what was that.
Right,
I lost track. Was that a motion or? was that a
yes,
discussion?
I'll move that.
Thank you, Dave.
Oh, wait a minute, they're asking for 110.
Yep.
And Dave, you're bringing it back down to the 90?
Tonight.
Well, it was,
Nine.
yes,
Okay.
they had originally asked for the 90.
Yes.
And then they added the 20,
Because you said it almost to down to the 70, it's gonna be 90.
It's gonna be 90.
but
Yeah.
if they need the
They
20
need the
for
20.
that person,
They fill
it
that
would
role by.
reduce it to 70, which is basically what you wanted anyway.
I didn't say that yet. Yeah, I think, as much as I would like to say, just keep it in there, I think, you know, looking overall between the two, I think that 20 can go a long way right now. I think, if we had to find something later on there was a viable candidate, you know, that I'm sure there's wiggle room somewhere, so I think, I'll second the motion to do that, even though I would like to keep it, but I think it could be used elsewhere, that 20,000.
Okay, seconded by Brian. Thank you, Brian. Any further discussion?
If I might,
Yes, Steve, please.
I noticed the projections for the current year match the budget, roughly $64,000. First of all, does that include the $41,000 we just,
Yes,
Okay.
that's why it's at the full amount.
does it include the other items over the past year that we've added, but
Yes.
sometimes have taken it from general fund as opposed to actually taking it from contingency?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Steve, just to be, that only includes the items taken from contingency.
Okay. Do we know what we've spent on other items, well, you know, which are similar contingency kind of things, unexpected things, but sometimes we've said, let's take it from the general fund, which,
In fiscal 24, we have done none of that. In fiscal 23, it was approximately $110,000.
thank you.
Any other discussion? I think it's a good idea. We'll now vote if there's no other discussion. Brian, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes,
Steve, how do you vote?
I'm gonna vote no.
Steve votes no. Nikki?
No.
Nikki votes no. I'll vote yes. That'll pass 3-2. Anyone else have anywhere else they want to move? I have a question for Bill. Bill, I think we made an adjustment, but maybe not. On page 7, local revenue finance investment, where did we land on that? You could remind us or remind me.
We increased it by $70,000 to $190,000.
That's what I thought. Okay.
And actually, after following that conversation, I followed up with our friends at the Fed.
Yeah.
And you guys have probably heard some of the same reports. There's been a little activity there recently. They actually decided to hold on rates. However, their forward-looking guidance indicated that there would be 1 or 2 possible cuts to rates in the coming year.
Mhm.
I was hoping that would be different. Maybe we'd have a little more lift there, but I think 190 might be prudent, given that the long-term trend looks like it's down.
Well, you were projecting half. Pretty much from 215 to 120. Right? And then we added 70.
Right.
Yeah, so I think the 190 is
All right.
I think
legit.
it's about right at this.
Yeah, I think we're fine there.
Yeah.
I had a question on page 19, town council. This had climbed very high in prior years. Relaxed quite a bit in 23. A little bit higher back up in 24, and now we're moving it up again. Is that a necessity, or can we look to pull that back down? We've had years where it's lower. I know we had years where it was much higher, but those were extraordinary events.
Right,
These aren't big moves now. We're down to, sub $10,000 moves.
but
But-
are you asking if we should lower it more because we've held steady with these?
I'm not asking if we can, because I know that we've made some changes, for example, with Michelle coming on board. We've got, some expertise in-house, right? Versus maybe having a lean on the outside.
I wouldn't necessarily recommend changing. Just, I think we've come pretty close to using.
Yes, we're on track to use the full budget this year, and I think the selectmen did reduce this by 5,000 in their meetings.
Well, because we had started to increase, but knew that we were gonna be done with the union negotiations. Labor has trended a little bit higher, this past year, but, zoning is a pot that hasn't been tapped into.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's a good place to gamble because you just don't know.
Okay, and you already cut it 5 from the
The original budget.
Okay. Page 26. We gotta put a weight on this till we had the fund balance, which is for the dog fund, which is $19,010. Does that money normally sit there and is only really moved over the 3 years when we move to 21,000, or is it used for other things throughout the year?
241.
Which one are you
The
asking?
dog fund, it's not here. I'm on
Oh.
page
It's
26.
off budget.
It is off budget.
Yes,
It's off budget, yeah. So do you use it for special projects, or is it just sitting there? I know it's been sitting there a long time, but
typically it's been used for capital type improvements such
Right.
as the
roof.
conversion to the mini split or,
Mhm.
right.
What do we
We
anticipate?
did do some fence repairs. Most recently, we found out state regulations are changing. And we have the assistance of an architect that's going to be rendering a design. So that we can do a capital campaign because the entire facility needs to be upgraded to meet state standards. We have 5 years to do that.
It's the 20,000
So
for
that'll
the
be
engineer.
a dog fund. But additionally to some of the repairs we've done to the building, the dog fund has covered vet bills.
Right.
Which we are obligated to give care to animals that come into our care as a town.
Question, Rob.
Yep.
Bill, is there any amount of funding that comes out of this on an annual basis?
Out of the dog fund?
Right.
Yes, we have budgeted a transfer of $7,000. From the dog fund into the general fund every year for the last 3 years, as I think I mentioned that earlier.
But you did, but not in, that's not embedded in that.
Not in the
It doesn't
budget.
specifically hit.
Is
this line.
it, does it show up as a revenue?
Yes,
So it is in the budget.
yes, it's in the budget on the revenue side, yes,
Here, in this budget.
yes.
And that's how you got to the 19, or the 19 goes to 12?
I'm sorry. The 19 is net of this year's $7,000. Yes, it's after.
It's already
this
been,
year's
so this year it's been
For
taken.
this year. For next year, it would drop to 12, right?
Mhm.
26.
If we maintain the 7,000.
Well, I get what this
revenue.
year's and the next year,
No,
right?
25,
25.
25 it would, the 19,000 as of right now is today,
It's 24.
and it's
Yeah,
after.
but in this
fiscal
booklet, in this
2024.
booklet for FY 25, there's $7,000 in revenue.
Yes,
From that fund.
correct,
So once, if this is approved, the 19 becomes 12.
Mhm.
You gotta pull it out.
correct.
Okay.
That's why I wanted to mention that. It's the private, there's two reasons why the dog fund is down. It's the transfer into the town and vet bills, which are, the cost of those vet bills is pretty steep.
Thank you, Dave. Anyone else have anyone else they'd like to go?
Can we take a look at page 42? Recreation.
Recreation, page 42.
I think last week, Bill, you mentioned that there was 25,000 in the revolving fund there.
Yes, and that is in the donation side of the revolving fund, so I believe, at least internally, we have a restriction on that for capital. Such as like, for this year, they used that money for the, what did we put in pickleball for?
Okay. In addition, are there other funds that recreation maintains? In other words, there is a collection and expenditure function of the Recreation Commission. Does that particular part of the fund have a balance?
No, right now, it's right around zero, actually, and what's driven that was a hit to program profitability during COVID. Some current collection issues that they're working through, and the fact that we had previously been paying the MyRec software fee, which was $5,000, just under $5,000.
4,800.
Out of that pool, so inflows have dwindled, but the outflows had continued. If I remember correctly, didn't we work in the software into the budget this year? Yes, on line 12. There's the $4,800
Mhm.
that normally would have come out of that fund. The reason it's in the budget is because there's no more money in that side of the rec fund.
Thank you, Bill.
Yep.
Anywhere else anyone wants to go?
On page 50. The retirement severance benefits. We have people that we anticipate retiring and the payouts. I'm just looking back 22. And noted 18 and 23 was like 4,000, 4,300.
That budget is not tagged to specific people.
No, but do we anticipate any retirements, Amy?
I don't believe so.
none so far this year.
Right.
20,000, that's a good catch.
You know, I'm just thinking, you know, 4 and we don't anticipate it. I mean, like in mine, I know that if someone's gonna retire in a year, then
This year.
I'd find out how much I gotta pay out and so forth, and we make sure it's covered enough to cover it, but I'm just thinking, you know, I think that could be lowered a little bit. You know,
Which line was it again?
it was number,
7,
yeah,
7.
no, wait a minute,
no,
no.
no,
Line
Nine,
Nine.
9,
On page 50.
you're right, the print is,
yeah. You know, it was 4,322, nothing so far, um. I'm wondering if we could, you know, reduce that by say, you know, 5 or 10.
Brian, I think it's a good idea. Why don't we knock it down by 10? I make a motion, we reduce it by $10,000.
So the motion is to reduce line 9, retirement severance benefits by $10,000, moving it from 20,000 to 10,000.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Brian. Any discussion on the motion? There was a question around maybe anticipated retirements. I don't know if we got to an answer or.
No, I don't think so.
We don't believe so. Okay. Any other discussion or questions around the motion on the floor? Hearing none. Brian, how do you vote?
Yes,
Dave?
yes,
Steve?
Yes,
Nikki?
Yes,
And I'll vote yes, it passes 5-0. Bill, can you remind us, on the debt service that was originally 1,596. Now, after last week's meeting, it's 1,561. The loader wasn't in there
It
because that was
probably,
put in originally as capital when I saw this.
it's up 5,000, yeah.
No, it's down about 35,000.
it's we took out we voted to roll the bond issuance costs into the note.
That's correct.
Okay, I'm sorry. You're right.
It's on line 26.
Yeah, I was just looking at the wrong front
Yep.
sheet.
I had a question around capital. And that is, on the bottom portion, we have 100,000 going for right now and for the municipal property repair fund. There's 50 in there now. The discussion last week was that would be almost enough to cover the removal of the underground storage tank.
Mhm.
And if we got some kind of a grant, maybe there'd be something left over. If we're doing that in the library this year. I'm not picking on the library, love the library. But we're also adding another almost $40,000 in the library maintenance.
Mhm. Mhm. Right,
If we pick the underground tank as a project, can these other maintenance projects be deferred? Or is that money earmarked? It's also a very odd number, 39,275. But is that earmarked for something as critical as the underground storage tank or as a furnace? Or can we defer it for another year, given that we're gonna put about $160,000 into the library this
I
year?
don't think, and Allison, I didn't see her come into the meeting. I don't think there's any urgent need. It's just preparing for some of the HVAC items that might need upgrading. Air exchange units, I believe. The number is odd because it was originally a request for 50,000.
Yep.
And the Board of Selectmen took the security gate request and took it out of their maintenance request.
Okay,
And you
But
moved
you're right. I mean, we can't do everything in town and we have to choose what's most important. So.
Well, that's kind of where I'm driving, and
Right.
if the tank's very important, do we do that for the library and then consider another project for the library in 26?
Right. Oh, and Tira has raised her hand. She might have something to add.
Yes, Tara, do you have something to add to the library maintenance discussion?
Mostly related to the conversation around the grants, obviously, since I had I have now made several inquiries to USDA as to whether the removal of the underground storage tank is eligible under the community facilities program. I haven't had any response, which I find concerning because my contact at USDA is usually pretty prompt. And I have the little information I'm able to glean online, kind of, it seems like they treat underground storage tanks as a very distinct category as opposed to other community facilities. So I am less optimistic than I was when I made the first inquiry. So I just want to toss that out there, that I think you should plan on the town probably having to carry the nut.
Thank you.
I hate to see, Dave and I were talking on the side a little bit, I've talked about it publicly. You never know what maintenance is gonna come up though, so I would not be in favor of just decimating it and taking that out because it might be another project, but I think if we reduce it in half and let's just say we take out the 19,275 and leave them with 20,000. If something were to come up with their HVAC systems or something like that, they gotta start to get it done, I think that might be appropriate.
Can I just?
Yes.
Say something? I understand the point. I'm just trying to go back to their regular budget because I think they also have building maintenance
They do.
listed. And I'm not advocating for the library, but there are many needs within the town. This building that we're sitting in tonight, the Public Works garage, that needs a roof still. So, but we know we can't do everything. The lights in the park, it's, I don't know. But for the sake of the taxpayers and making sure that we can get this budget to pass, I don't know.
I know what you're saying.
It's
Amy.
just hard decision.
Well, and even in the scheme of things, you've got a building of that size. Something would happen at 25 could be eaten up in no time, something we don't see.
Right.
Okay, and quite honestly, let's just say for chance, we need some extra to take that oil tank out. Well, they've got, 20,000 that they can choose from, or they can take it out of their maintenance to offset any of that. So that's why
No, that makes sense.
I think you don't want to decimate it so that they can't do any maintenance because they're just going to come back to you.
Sure.
So I'll make a motion that we remove 19,275 from the capital of the library maintenance.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Brian has the motion, Dave has the second, and that is to reduce the capital maintenance line item for the library from 39,275 to 20,000. Is that correct? Brian?
Correct,
I
yes.
Phrase that correct. Any discussion?
What pages did you find it?
I didn't find it.
The print was too small. I can't see the size. I think it's 50.
Bill, do you know what the-
53.
No, what page the actual library
Oh,
I,
is? In the,
Last
in the book.
37. You wanna look on page 39.
101.
We're gonna get a 30.
And in 39 and line 13, that's what Amy was referring to. There's a line item called building repair and maintenance, which also has 25.
Yeah.
And I tend to agree with Brian. I mean, it is a big complex and things happen.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's not.
and it's old
Okay.
at this point.
Right.
Things
It's a new
need,
library, so.
it is.
It is. It is old. I was being serious.
Yeah.
and the cost of anything is like tripled. So, what we could buy for $2 is now 30.
I feel safe with
Yep.
your suggestion. Brian.
Okay, any other discussion around the motion on the floor? Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none. Start with you again, Brian.
Yes.
Dave,
Yes,
Steve,
Yes,
Nikki?
Yes.
And Rob will vote yes, that passes 5-0. Anything else? Any place else anybody would like to go? Oh, okay. That would be a motion to adjourn. Not ready for that
Whoa,
yet.
whoa, second what? Huh?
Brian's ready to second.
No, I hope we're gonna at least, get into a little bit of the school.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
certainly come every time, and I don't want them to have another meeting where they're not even, we gotta start somewhere, so.
Can I ask Bill to give us an update as to where we're at this point?
Sure. Bill? Is this all live, Bill? Like, have you
Yes.
changed it?
It is. So we are at 28.37, a 2.37 mil increase.
2837 is where we're landing?
Yes.
I have two other questions, for the group. I hate to ask both of them, but I'm gonna bring it up. The first is on the lights. I think we need to do the lights. And it's expensive, and we tore them down, and it's an area that the town uses. But for consideration, if we did 25,000, could we push the work out? Can we put 25 in this year and then do another 25 next year? And go another year without lights? So no, it's not a no to the lights, it's kind of pushing the lights out to spread out the cost over a 2-year period.
I think that's fair. Interesting to note, Frank Poole, who is one of the leagues, the adult leagues that play there, called me about the lights, and I had a conversation with him, and I expressed the need to pull up the underground storage tank. I also expressed to him where the mill rate stood at this point in the budget, and I think he understood. I mean, he's been a big advocate. He was the one that also put in the very reasonable quote because he's an electrician. Could it last one more year? Well, yeah, we can make do because we're going to have to. But I like your thinking, where we're not saying no completely, we're just going to budget for
Yeah.
it. Just like you would, we hear it all the time. How do you treat your household finances when you can't do something? You put money aside and then you put money aside again until you can get it done. Now, will the cost go up by next year? Potentially. So that's the risk you take.
Go ahead, Bill.
Are we considering reducing the capital item to 0 and adding $25,000 to the municipal property repair fund so that money accumulates?
If that's the way to do it, to accumulate it, but I would only suggest it if we really earmark it.
Can it,
We
yeah,
gotta
can it be,
earmark it. It can't be like a maybe
It's
kind
gotta
of,
go to transfer.
it's gotta go.
Yeah, it would have to move to
Yeah.
transfer, yeah.
And that's what I would suggest if we felt that was an area. The other question, the follow-up question is, some projects you have to wait to have all the money to do the whole project. Other projects you can do some of it. Now, I don't know with a half a light issue. I know if it was a roof, you could do one side and then you could do another
No, but
side.
is there site work of base electrical or anything else that can be done, or is it strictly just like?
It's
my-
pretty much all in the-
I'm not an electrician, nor do I play one on TV, but from what I understand, it's a relatively straightforward replacement.
Right.
Okay, so you either do the whole project or you wait, or you don't. You know,
There's a rental fee, I imagine, in there,
Right.
which
For the
would,
For the lift.
if you did it in 2 years,
I
you're
know that
probably
was
doubling it.
That
It's
rental fee is a
thinking.
big part of the.
Could half the lights be done this year and the other half next year? It's
But you-
thinking outside the box and not being so.
I understand that, but the rental fee is gonna double.
Right. Yeah, agreed.
It's not worth it. It's not, any better off waiting if it's gonna be
Mhm.
30% more for the project. Any other thoughts around lights?
Well, I don't mind the idea, so if we take it out, they lose it, but next year it's gonna be more. you put something aside this year, if it goes up, at least we've got something to offset that a little bit of the increase that we possibly could have. So I think it's sound thinking that something be put aside for it and reduce what they're gonna have this year, but at least, you know, it's gonna go up, but we're gonna cover a little of that going up, then getting rid of it and not have it at all, and then it could be worse.
Right.
So I don't think, and then I think if we could put it in there and there's no reason why we can't ask. This is what's been put aside, and what can we work with this for something? I'm not saying it'll work, but at least, you know, they have an opportunity.
So just clarity for my purposes, if you move it, is it earmarked or not? Can it
If you
be?
move
If
it
we
to transfer, it's earmarked.
Okay,
So I'll make that motion to move $25,000 from the Riverside Park rights to the transfer fund to be used. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, but you also have to reduce the 50 to 25. You
That's
didn't,
correct.
yeah.
And
If you just move 25, you still have 25 left in the other
The other
one.
one, yeah.
right,
I like that idea.
and reduce the 50 to 25 in the capital line.
No,
You want
you
to,
gotta take it out.
Take it out.
I take it out to zero, that's right, because the 25 showing up, so a net 25.
Okay.
Thank So that would be 50,000 removed from the capital line, adding 25,000 to the transfer. That's the motion on the floor.
Who
Is there a
made the
second?
motion? Who made the motion?
I did.
Oh, I'll second it.
Dave seconds it. Any further discussion?
Rob, she asked if you could repeat the motion.
The motion was to remove the $50,000 for the electrical, for the lights in Riverside Park. And. from
Capital.
Capital, and add $25,000 to the transfer fund. For the same project,
Right.
for the Riverside Light project. Any other discussion on the motion? No other discussion. Brian, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Nikki?
Yes.
And Rob Ward will vote yes.
Nice
That
to have
passes
nice
5 to
hesitation
0.
there. I like that little suspense, you know, keep them guessing.
I like bullying.
Last question I had on this was on the mower. We had any further discussion on the mower? Mower, I forget the voice track on the mower.
So
Absolutely, our mowers are dead. We need it.
Joe said they can fix and work with what they have. His continued request is please not to touch paving. So it's understood that it likely has to get taken out. And I know he'll appreciate the fact that he'll be able to order the loader, so let's hope that stays in.
So,
For now.
Right, exactly.
so his order of priority is paving, loader, mower.
Correct.
Well,
Paving-
he doesn't have to worry about the loader. The loader's gonna be next year anyways,
Right. but
so. Um,
it won't be readdressed next year, so it's approved now, so he's got it. He's just gotta wait for it.
that's right, exactly. So he shouldn't worry about the loader. He's gotta worry about paving.
Has there been any discussion on the cost of the mower? Has that one gone up every year as well, or is that stayed flat?
But
It doesn't-
hopefully inflation is subsiding.
I just didn't know if it was in there last year,
No.
what cost.
It wasn't in last
It
year.
wasn't in last year. This is the new item.
All right, I gotta go through the emergency management vehicle again. They're selling 2 vehicles.
60,000.
We cannot exceed the cost of those two, yes.
Yep.
All right. And it was whatever they get,
Uh-huh.
that's what they had to buy it for. All right. And do we have the 60,000 some other place?
Yes, that's
Okay.
why it's green, actually.
Oh,
This is-
it's something's green up there. Oh,
Yes.
my bad.
You can't read that?
Can't see
Are you
that.
colorblind too?
No, I can see the green.
Be a
All right.
bigger screen TV.
I know.
And if the 60 is 50, then the 50s, then the whole 60s
Right.
become 50.
Right.
That's the way it was approved. That has to be a wash. If he only gets 40 for it, then he only spends
Okay.
40.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, well. Yeah, but
All right, so let me just, maybe I'm missing something. So if they don't get 60, let's say they get 40.
Yeah.
This gets reduced by 40.
Correct. Gets reduced.
goes
by
Well,
20.
we're going forward with this at 60.
yeah,
So, I mean, I'm sorry, but they're not gonna get 40,000. They said that.
that gives them 100 if they get
Yeah.
40 and 60.
No, but we have.
They're taking
Let's
60.
clarify that, 'cause I didn't understand that as Dave said it. They don't get the 40 plus the 60 here.
Well, if you budget 60 and they sell the Humvee for 40, they've now got 100.
No,
It's budgeted.
no, Bill, explain it. That's not how we passed it. We
Right.
passed that. That's not. what
We
the motion-
passed it that what they sold the vehicles for was that they could use
That's
that
correct.
money to buy a vehicle.
That's
For
correct.
So,
budget purposes.
In reality,
So
we're
budget
taking the
purposes,
60,000.
you're thinking they're gonna get 60.
And we have 60 in revenue,
Revenue.
and we have 60 in expense.
Right.
So it's budget neutral.
So let's go to Dave's question.
No, I know that, but I'm saying it's budget neutral, I understand that, but why if we know they're not gonna get 60. I understand, I understand it's budget neutral, but. I'll let it go. I understand it's neutral, I do, I understand.
No, it's a
that.
credit and a debit.
Yeah,
so
I know,
It
but
balances to zero.
I think where Brian's going is it's on the upper, like, if it goes 60 and 60 and it's less, what happens?
Well, there's no
You change
revenue.
them to 40 and 40.
They would spend whatever revenue comes in.
Okay.
So you would
And
be
what
short
happens
in
if-
revenue and you'd be short in
And
expenses.
if we went 30 and 30 and they wound up selling it for 40, what would happen?
They could, according to how the board passed it, they could spend whatever they received. I think that's why, I'm guessing, can't speak for the board, but I'm guessing that's why we went with 60, because I think everyone felt that they're probably unlikely to get more than 60.
it's a wash, I understand, I mean, it's just 60. All right, I'll let it go. My bad.
Anywhere else, anyone wants to go?
What do we want to do about the mower?
I don't know. I didn't,
Goats.
I wasn't prepared to do anything.
Goats. We can sell the milk. Revenue stream. Right? No, that's a no-go.
It's a no.
I'm trying to think out of the box.
You're thinking out of the box.
That could be a project for the school,
That's
yeah,
right.
agricultural.
I have that down in Killingly. You get off exit 92.
We could use the milk in the culinary school. I'm just thinking, I'm thinking.
Nikki, you were gonna take the floor?
I'd like to make the motion to remove the mower.
Nikki's making a motion to remove the mower.
I'll second that.
And Steve seconded the motion. The motion is to remove $54,000 from the capital mower line item from 54 to 0. Any discussion on that? Any discussion?
I don't have anything to add.
Okay. Thank you for the clarity. First selectman, Amy St. Well.
Just don't touch the paving.
I got
I was
that.
gonna say,
Anymore.
you're either gonna lose the mower or you're gonna get something out of paving, unfortunately. So,
They're gonna get
You did say
something
it
out
was-
of paving.
Okay, any other discussion on mowers? Hearing none. Brian, how do you vote?
yes.
Dave?
At this point, no.
Dave's a no. Qualified by this point.
I was close to the no.
Steve,
so I
how do
gotta
you
go
vote?
in.
Yes.
We're a long way from there.
Nikki?
That's
Yes.
right.
And I'll vote yes, so that will pass 4 to 0. I'm sorry, 4 to 1. 4 to 1. Four yeas and 1 nay. Any other areas anybody wants to go?
No, but I'd like to reserve the right to come back to it.
For clarity, Nikki, even
Mhm.
things that have been taken out, if we felt, for example, and I'm not suggesting this, but if we felt like we wanted to move money back in for lighting or the mower, until we're done, we're not done, so. If, that's the spirit of what we're
After the first referendum, you may want to consider it.
It's not one directional, is what I'm trying to say. It's not like you can only reduce. If you want to fund something like Brian did on last week, we can do that.
Mhm.
Anything else?
I have nothing else.
I'll bring up the last topic. It's probably more unpopular than Riverside Lights. And that's the fire departments. Currently at,
What
currently they're
page
at-
is that?
they're on
23.
Page
Oh,
23.
look at that. I got that right there, 23.
Again, like the library. I'm not wanting to pick on the fire departments, 16.6% is a very large increase. When we look across many of the departments that have, 0 to negative. It's a big number, 71.2 to 83,000.
Are you looking at anything in particular?
Yeah, I'm looking at line
Nine.
9, all the way on the right-hand side, it's 83,000 per department for FY 25 and FY 24, this current year, it's 71.2.
Mhm.
That delta is a 16.6% increase.
Rob, do you have something in mind in particular? An amount?
I've got a few things I've looked at, Steve. I feel like it's always a hard one because this is a volunteer fire departments, and I think if we gave them 32% increase, they still wouldn't have enough.
Yep, fair enough.
Up until last year, this is my 5th cycle. Last year, they were flat budgeted. The other cycles before that, they were close to 8 to 10%. We can go back and look, but it was good, healthy bumps from about 40, 45, 50 upwards to 71. So I don't, Steve, specifically. I think leaving them at 71.2 is wrong. I
Yep.
think some relief, especially on a since they were flatlined the year before. But I also have a hard time sitting here without commenting on the 16.6 when many of the other departments are making sacrifices. And again, it's probably the most unpopular topic in the booklet. So I brought it up. Interested in other thoughts, or I can make a motion. If there's
How
no-
about $75,000 per department?
Well, we didn't give them last year, Steve.
Right.
So I was thinking maybe just slightly higher than that, maybe a 78 or something like that. Considering they didn't get anything last year, and I agree, everybody's got to make, a sacrifice here. So I think that, your 75 would kind of make up for last year, and some more this year at 78 would be, what we could give them for this year. That's my thought.
No, that 78 would land at about a 9.5% increase, so still a generous increase, and to your point, Brian, that's covering 2 years.
Right.
1.0 and then 1.95.
Yeah. So when you look at it,
That sounds reasonable, Brian.
you know,
You make a motion, I would
12% a
second it.
year. I'll make a motion to reduce it to 78,000 from the 83,
A reduction of $5,000
reduction of $5,000.
on the line item for fire departments times the 5 fire departments, just clarifying. So it's a total reduction in that line of $25,000. And Steve seconded that. So the motion is to reduce line item 9, grants fire departments, to reduce it, overall reduction of $25,000, 5,000 per department. Any further discussion? Any discussion on this? I think it's the right balance. I appreciate everyone chiming in. I think it's the right balance. I wish we could do more. But there's a lot of places that are getting 0. So, I think it's the right thing to do. Any other comments? Hearing none. Brian, how do you vote?
Yes,
Dave, how do you vote?
Yes,
Steve, how do you vote?
Yes,
Nikki, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Rob Ward will vote yes. It passes 5-0.
we get a brief update.
Yes. Bill, can we do a refresh?
28.23. Or an increase of 2.23 mil.
And well, capital's still very, very high at 167%. A big reason is the cuts last year, but we started at 247%. So that mill impact is now 103. And it was 141 when we started. Debt service is about the same. It went down slightly with the bond movement. And the town was 0.11. Is that right? Now it's minus 0.19.
Right.
Anybody have anywhere else they want to go in the town? Haven't seen the roll up.
I'm good with the town for now.
I'm good with the town. Steve?
I'm good.
Nikki?
Good.
Dave, you good for now?
well, no,
For now, at the moment. Okay. I would say let's move over to the school budget.
Page on this page.
I mean, I'm open to what the group would like to do. My thought would be to, go through it like we did with the town initially. And by the way, I thought if we were through this stage of the town after 2 meetings, we'd be in really great shape. We're here at, 3/4 of the way through the second meeting, so that's good. We can do that if people would like, go through page by page. And then we can also pick up on this, on next week on the 28th as well.
Fine with me.
Okay.
I'm not going anywhere.
So I had a couple of questions. I don't know if I addressed them to you, Bill, or if I addressed them to Linda.
Depends on what it is.
Okay. My first question is, when it comes to health benefits, if I look across,
Came in the school,
if I looked across the different,
please. Thank you.
the different areas in the budget, so if I look at the high school and the middle school and staff. Well, overall, it's about 10%. Actually,
Right.
wide swings from like 50% and one of them was negative. That seems really odd. What's driving that kind of? You follow what I mean with the swing? So one department had a 50% increase. And another's like negative, like combined they're.
Correct.
This is, we're talking, I'm sorry, I was trying to get this up on the screen. Could you repeat your question? Ron?
If I look at the health benefits and I don't, I'm on each marked in, but if I look, if you went through them within each of the schools and then the staff. Overall, they run about 10% increase. But if I look at each of the individual groups, there's a really wide range. From some groups being actually less than prior year and others being like 47% up. That number sticks with me. That seems strange to me. Usually like people are people and you'd think it'd be somewhat, the population would be somewhat like maybe a spread, but not like just kind of.
I like that.
Well, you wanna get,
Sure.
I know these are the right.
Well, there's been movement, there is some movement of folks between departments.
Correct.
And then there's also simply a change in, there's actually a fair amount of change this year in people's coverage selections.
Correct. We've had a lot of young teachers get married,
Right.
so they switched for a single plan to a family plan. It depends on each school, who we've hired and what kind of plan they're taking. So that's where you're seeing those big swings. And we did have a lot of transition with staff this year, so.
Second question that I had was, maybe we should take it right to the top. Rather than jumping.
Okay, but
So page one is the roll up by department in aggregate. Total adjustment from 2604 to 21,489 is plus 885. Which came out to 4.3%, just a level set. Next page is page 2. Comments or questions on page 2?
Linda, can I ask a question? What's the difference between high school guidance other supplies and high school guidance office supplies?
Mm-hmm.
36 and 37.
Because 20, and that's why I was wondering, 25 it was like 8,200. Then it was 45, 450. And then nothing. And then change for 25, 7.
So,
No.
Brian, office supplies is exactly that. Other supplies generally catches things like and just so the board knows, we've actually gone through the exercise of defining the object codes on these. So that's object code 50690. It's in the back of the packet. And for example, scholarship plaques and awards would end up in there. I'm trying to pick the items in here that might relate to guidance specifically. I know they do some bulletin board paper and the social worker also rolls up into guidance and
I'm
social
good.
worker supplies.
Yep, no problem.
Yep.
Just one
I
thing.
think what he's mentioning is the significant increase.
Yeah.
So it must be a special program that they're initiating.
Also on this page 2, Melinda, can you share with us, share with the board, like the why so low on when you look at English teacher salary and math salaries versus social studies salaries?
It depends on the step the person is on.
But these aren't one individual, this is a combination of
Yeah,
individuals.
this is not a single
Line
thing.
you're talking
So when I look at line 7
about. Line 7.
for math, for English salary, and I compare that to line 16 for math salary.
So,
And then I go down and I look at social studies on line 29. It dwarfs both of those numbers. I don't know if it's a combination of, if it's steps or a combination of number of people in those positions.
I believe this is primarily number of teachers in the position.
That's when I
I think
have
we
one.
have 4.
there's three English teachers and there's only 2 tech ed teachers.
And I believe we have 4 social studies teachers.
There are 4
Yeah.
social studies too. Well, it's 3.5 social studies and 1/2 music that
I
teachers
see.
select.
Is that normal? More social study teachers than English?
He's a unicorn, and we needed him to teach 2 areas, so he teaches social studies and music.
We think outside the box.
But the goats were a good idea.
You get those goats all, we actually find them poison ivy by everything.
Does my daughter do social studies?
Middle school.
No, that's middle school. okay. We can't afford it.
Any other questions on page 2?
No.
Nope. I want to go back to it because I understand that he's a unicorn. Take the unicorn out of the equation.
Okay,
You've got 3.5 people teaching social studies.
right. Because
I
of
know
because of the electives that we offer,
So,
because
there's
each
more
student
courses.
has to graduate with 25 credits. And the high school schedule is so tight because we've made cuts over the past several years that we weren't able to run a number of electives for the kids to take to make those 25 credits. So we have to run electives, and some of the electives that are of high interest to the students are like the history of American music, the history of sports, and that falls under social studies.
Totally get it. Okay, it just seemed like the balance wasn't right for me. and
Right.
not close enough to it.
Right.
So when I look at the balance and I'm thinking math and English are pretty important. Social studies is important, but it seemed like there are a lot more teachers.
Yeah, it's the
No, I understand.
elective piece to that.
If you took that out, there'd be more balance if the
Right.
elective was out, but the electives have to fall somewhere. Yeah, okay, thank you. Move to page 3. Any questions on page 3? This is where that first health insurance came in at 27%.
Mhm.
Line item 50.
Mhm.
Any questions on page 3? Four. We look at 116, that's why I asked the question. So we've got 27% in one population and minus 8% in the other.
Yeah, it's
I
mixed.
understand.
You know,
Just happened to be that that population of teachers didn't get married. The other population,
Like,
for example.
it's more get married.
Yeah.
And
And
that
I-
drives the.
And then-
every time they do. I groan every time they get married. $20,000 increase in pay.
Mhm.
It drives you to drink.
The downside to hiring young teachers.
Yeah.
Matt Richmond?
That's very aligned. Best. Any other questions on page 4?
Are we through middle school?
We're
Okay,
just
I'm
starting.
good with page 4.
Oh, yeah.
Page 5.
Contractual stuff.
Yeah. This slide was very telling. That's what I was looking for.
Is that the
earlier.
85?
The one with the
Yeah,
budget
the
drivers.
85, yeah.
Even if you took out the non-contractual increases for power and other things, if you just took the healthcare changes and the contractual salary increases, it's 664 plus 268. 932. So that alone is less than the total increase of 885. Anything else on page 5, going through the rest of elementary?
Yeah, item 150, 169, and
And 164.
one,
150, Dave?
sorry, 181.
Could you say those numbers? one more time?
150, 169, and 181.
Okay,
And then errors.
That's showing significant increase in staffing. Is that why these increases there?
Special ed para salary, 169. Yeah, there's a significant increase in one-on-one paras this year. Remember, you want to go down that story, we had taken a lot of paras out of the budget because our request was reduced by $1 million. So the Board of Ed had hard decisions to make and reduced between 6 and 8 paraprofessionals. Unfortunately, because of IEPs, and because we wanted to avoid out-of-district placement and keep a child in a least restrictive environment, the best way to do that is to work with a paraprofessional with that student. So then those paraprofessionals crept back on and then some to maintain kids in district and do the right thing for the students' particular IEP program. So that's all IEP driven. The ones that we cut out of the budget last year, unfortunately, came back. And that's not unusual from year to year. It's just that this particular year, because we made that reduction out of that $1 million that we had to reduce. We tried different strategies and they just did not work.
And 150 is the reading specialist. 150.
So they don't have the reading salary. Bill, we haven't had a change in reading teachers, so I'm curious about that.
That, did one of them roll off of grants?
One of them is on Title I.
Did any of the reading teachers roll off of a grant back onto Gen Ed this year? For this budget?
Yeah, I know.
We're looking at a significant
Looks like,
increase.
yeah, two, looks like you went from 1 to 3
Yeah,
or 2 to 3, 2 to 4.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that,
I
but
can
I know
look.
Title I covers a percentage of one of the reading teacher's salary, but not the whole amount.
We'll follow up on that one.
Yep.
yeah, I think we need an answer.
So that's,
We'll follow up
to
on that.
clarify, you're talking, Dave, line 150, the 185,000 increase.
Yes,
What's that? Yeah.
what triggered that increase?
Okay. And I think Melinda answered 169. Did we cover
Yes.
181?
Yeah, that's increasing staffing there, Paris.
Sorry, 181? We covered
Yes,
it?
yes, yes.
You said the para.
Same explanation.
Yeah.
Same explanation.
Yeah.
Not to back us up, but back on the high school, there's a line item in here and I didn't re-find it. I saw it earlier. There's a line item in here. I didn't re-find it, so I can't reference the number.
Okay.
I saw it earlier. Where for VOAG students, we
Yes.
pay, I'm assuming that goes to Killenly for
Correct,
students that elect VOAG and we don't have that. They go there and we pay Killenly.
exactly.
With all of these creative pathways that you have, I don't know of any other schools that are doing culinary and welding, and is there an opportunity? And we also have capacity, we're not, the high school has capacity, right? We're not,
So that's my mission, is to try to tuition kids in. Because we have seats at the high school.
Yeah.
We do have a campaign out there to bring, we've advertised, we are going on Winnie, the students are recording this week. To make sure that because we have seats, and we tuition students in from other.
is there interest? Has there been interest from other districts?
So interestingly enough, we've gotten back some homeschool students. So that didn't fit the bill, right, as far as tuition in, but we're still out there having those conversations with districts around, because our tuition is less than if you sent a kid to Woodstock Academy. If a student is interested in a welding program, they should come to us.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get that word out, and then offset, that's what we're hoping to do, open those seats up for tuition based and start bringing students in.
So that's gonna take a few cycles.
I think so, but it's also getting the word out. And Heather is down there, who helps us a lot with the PR campaign to make that work. So the subcommittee of the board is actually working hard on that. But we had our talk show on Winnie already about the pathways. We've had an ad in the Shopper's Guide. We have a radio spot running,
Yeah.
that Winnie's helping us with. And then we're, I'm getting the word out to the area superintendents that if the student is interested,
Printed out a really
you know,
things.
come to the lot.
What do we?
Salary is the
telling you
biggest,
to do?
not only
Uh,
salary.
six,
but the increased
thousand
staffing.
range for the VOAG, kids, yeah.
So once you get a site, if you got 10, 20, as you grow it, it could be meaningful.
The VOAG, so typically we have about 26 students out at the VOAG. I know that there are 4 students leaving from 8th grade to go to VOAG next year. We've,
Sorry, about just that scale, I'm thinking of it on the inbound,
right,
not on the outbound,
yeah.
but just using that as a relative measure. And if you
That
pan
number,
out-
that 26 number has really changed since I've been here, like between 24 and 26. So we budget a standard amount and that
Yeah.
seems to be
What it is.
correct. We watch it like a hawk, though.
Mm.
I ask for transcripts, if anybody moves, we check residency in the summer. So, because to me, that's a number that we wish we could significantly reduce.
And if I might add, one of the differences is that Ellis and VOAG can come and solicit to all the area
Yes.
schools to draw them to them, but we can't solicit our program to the other schools. Do you follow what I'm saying? 'Cause that's a state mandated program, right? So it's an uphill battle for us to draw people in, but it's gonna be by word of mouth and advertising to get them.
Yeah.
Okay, that's helpful, thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else on page 5? Special ed, lost for half of page 6.
On page 6, 244, does that reflect the change in proportion between the town and the school?
Yes,
Yes.
that is 70%,
70-30?
yes.
Yeah.
I had one other question as we rolled to 7, but not on 7. In the back, it says that healthcare, what do you call those codes in the back? What do you call those?
Objects.
Objects, the object codes. In the back, under healthcare, it says 8%. But yet in the budget, it says 10. Is that a typo or is it really 8 or is it 10?
Don't forget, there's an element of if you have more employees, you will, because for example, the paras are up.
Yeah.
So that would also contribute to you don't have the same population in both years. So there's some lift from additional heads.
So 8% was the amount that the insurance actually premium went up.
So
But
that's
10% is
actually-
because we have more bodies
Right,
using
Or-
that service.
more bodies or folks getting married.
Well, spouses, it's another body, but more participant is the right, body's the wrong word. There's
Right.
more participants in the program.
And
That's the delta between the 8 and the 10.
yes, but just what page is that object on?
15.
The object is on page 50. Thank you, Nick.
So that something to clarify there.
50271.
When we started,
Oh,
we were budgeting for healthcare, we were given a range of 7 to 8%. This was common to both the town and the school. So that is actually what is reflected in this budget is a 5% increase.
Mhm.
And that's actually what you see in the explanation on the first page. So that object code definition needs to be just changed to say 5% instead of 8%.
So 5% is the actual premium lift.
Right,
And the difference between 5% and 10% is the number of participants
right. And mix of coverage.
and mixed coverage.
So, the health insurance benefits are calculated at the school the same way we do at the town. We actually look at every employee and their current election.
Okay, thank you. Back to page 7.
which puts us in a little funky place when you hire someone because you don't know what benefit package they're gonna take. So
Right.
there always has to be a little wiggle room in that if they come in on a family plan.
Right. Unlike, you'll recall in the town budget, we had left one placeholder employee in there for some cushion. the school budget does not have an extra employee in there for cushion.
If I could also add one thing.
Yes.
We don't actually know what the premium increase will be for,
We do,
we do, because last year we didn't. when
we do know.
Right.
We've
Okay.
already gotten confirmation on that. Exactly. 2%.
And that you got prior to this, so this is actual or this is estimated?
I'm sorry.
So the increase for healthcare is different from when we put the budget in,
Correct,
yes.
right, but so we're at 5, in these 5% is reflected in this. Since then, as you guys know, it's been reduced to 2. I would argue you could give some thought to leaving that 5 here because we don't have an extra placeholder employee on the school side.
Well, 5% is really 2%, just 5% when this was
Five
developed.
percent is what developed this budget, correct?
And what does that mean in whole dollars?
Across
Across
it's
the population
about,
in the election?
it would be about 45,000 roughly,
But 2 people could throw that off,
right?
yeah.
Exactly.
And we do have, there are gonna be external postings this year. So. I already know that from a couple of retirements.
Oh my God, don't get married for another year. It's about the cause.
Everybody's got to do their part, right?
Just up
Hey,
for rent,
sacrifices have to be made, yeah, upper rent.
and give the proceeds back to the town.
Do my best.
You didn't get it next meeting?
She's already worried about what I say.
Are we on 8?
7.
I'm on 12.
Well done, Brian.
I'm on
What
10.
was that? Bill, what was that reduction in the town, that 5 to 2? Was that like 17,000 in the
17,
town?
yeah.
17,000?
Yes.
I don't know, you're moving fast, Brian. So you're
No, I'm on 8 right now.
I'm on page 7, the bottom one. I guess we're down the plan. Any other questions on
If
page
the
7?
town would let me take over the sewer department, you could go down. You'd save money.
Anything else on page 7? Page 8?
No, I don't know.
Anything on page 8? Anything on electric that would be different, Bill, based on what we did with the town?
No,
Nothing different. Heating oils down, that's a contract.
yes, that was
That's favorable.
the contract the joint contract we negotiated. Yeah.
Why not anything on electric? Just you already baked it in, or?
Yeah, we had already baked it in, and the electric calculation is a little more straightforward at the school side.
On line, line 341,
341, page 8.
district-wide new tech equipment. 99, can you just tell me what that's for?
So that is a cycle for new Chromebooks. We didn't purchase any this year.
Yeah.
And the first round of Chromebooks came prior to the pandemic, so they are shot. And we've been piecemealing them together this year because we took that out of the budget last year. So we do need to put a new cycle of
Okay.
Chromebooks in.
All right,
Did they come prior to the pandemic? I thought they came
Right
with the
around,
pandemic.
we had some prior and then we got grant funding during the pandemic.
right.
So honestly, the Board of Ed's budget didn't purchase the ones we currently have.
Right.
So now we're in a replacement cycle.
Right.
So we pared it down to just one grade level. I believe it's 4th to 5th. Elementary, living middle school, so the 5th graders will get new Chromebooks. And
Right.
some up at the high school.
If I remember right, this was driven by the fact that this particular group of Chromebooks no longer updates. So they actually can't, they can't use them.
They're all out of warranty
Right.
and they're being trying to cobble together.
Okay, no problem.
What
I
was
just
the
wanted-
final decision? Are they touchscreen or non-touchscreen?
Please.
Are they touchscreen or non-touchscreen? What was that
They're not
final decision?
touchscreen. We did purchase touchscreen when we had grant money for the younger students. However, the teachers don't recommend them. They don't want the touchscreens.
Anything else on 8? Page 8? Is that right, or is that still slow? Last week it was slow.
It's 1 minute slow now.
Now it's 1 minute slow. Okay. 3 calendar. Page 9. Page 9, athletics, curriculum, summer. Any questions?
No.
Okay. 10 and beyond, just sort of differently. as I
Correct.
understand it.
Mhm.
It's the same
Yeah.
data.
By object.
If anybody want to go through that and anything's there, that tells a different story, if it's sorted differently. Yeah, there's the 10-3 on the health insurance right there. Yep. Okay, that takes us to 13. 13 and beyond is in definitions. Any questions on definitions? I'll just jump back to the driver's page. I didn't add the transportation for the buses, but if you took into consideration the first 3 items around salary increases, which are part of the negotiations with the union, you put in the healthcare, 10% aggregate for the healthcare, and the transportation, 5%. It's actually a little over $1 million. It's 1020, so it's $1,020,000. Which means all the rest of the puts and takes are underwater. We got to 885. Special ed was 4.3 of the total, I believe.
The only thing we restored in that budget was the two of the paraprofessionals from kindergarten. The kindergarten teachers are drowning. Students are coming in lacking self-help and toileting skills, and they're alone in the bathroom, they're alone in the classroom. Students are having accidents, and how can we teach and be in the bathroom changing a student? So it's been somewhat of a nightmare this year. So they've been sharing. At 1.5 years, 1 para, and it's definitely not working out based on the self-help skills that the students are coming in with. Not good. And the teachers are at a breaking point. Yes. and we-
Steve, anything?
Impacting student growth.
You're awfully quiet there.
I'm good, thank you.
Anyone else here at the table?
Drinking his wine. He's drinking his wine on that.
I wish.
I gotta do a Zoom when the real cuts come.
Go back, maybe go back. Is everybody good here?
I'm good.
Can we go back to the
The summary sheet.
I know.
Yeah, okay, good, thank you. That's what I was thinking.
I was gonna ask just to go back to the summary to see
Yes.
where we're at.
I just need a second. I had closed the town's file.
Can you do the quick math of I-30 divided by I-28? Please. Eight and a half percent.
That's the number just below it, I think, the 8.58%.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you,
Yep.
Steve. That's what I get. At
Already had it.
4 minutes to 9, you ask a question like that. Thanks, Steve.
We're at a 26 mill rate right now,
Yep,
Correct.
and
and
we're looking at 28.23.
which is an 8.5% increase.
Okay, so 8.5. So I'm just gonna say this, and I'm not making a motion or anything. Amy, don't look. All right? Dave, what were you thinking out of paving?
I have no thoughts on that at this moment.
Gonna be the moment soon. I'm just curious. We threw a number just to see. Where does that, without,
It's basically whatever, if everything passes with the first referendum, I'm not thinking about anything. If it doesn't pass, then we have to take a
Okay.
close look at paving and possibly education. I think we've pretty well covered everything else.
so are you suggesting,
I'm not
well,
suggesting anything.
I'm asking your opinion.
I'm not
We could-
suggesting
we're
anything.
gonna get here next year and we're gonna just not, we're gonna do nothing next week? I mean,
We have to decide. Nothing means we move this forward, I guess.
that's, I guess that's my question.
I'm digesting it. I guess
Yeah.
for me, I was really bullish last year. There was a lot of chatter, a lot of voices from the
Well,
town.
last year went out way too high.
It wasn't this high.
Yeah.
It wasn't this high last year.
When
No.
was,
It wasn't
What
this
was
high
last
last year,
year?
and I would have.
when was the four, I lost track. When was the 4 mil thing? Is that 2 years ago?
No, that was last
No,
year.
That was last year.
That was the original
Yeah,
request. That was not what it
That's not
meant.
what we're gonna
Didn't
do.
go out that way.
2.81,
2.81, yeah.
which was the first referendum,
2.81
is what went out to the public.
And what did it pass? out?
mill increase.
Yes.
It
That was the first.
Off-
referendum.
it was
off of-
defeated like, what?
It
by
passed the
2/3.
second time, right? In the second
Off of a
referendum?
24 base,
And what?
23.95 base.
Yeah, we
Yeah, what was the
we
second one?
reduced it back to 1. And then it passed.
So I stand corrected. It was this high.
2.98.
Mm-hmm.
And just a reminder,
Bill, could you?
we're wrapping up union
make that a little
negotiations.
bigger, please? Enlarge it.
And I think it'll be beneficial to,
We may want to defer, is what you're saying,
One more.
just one more week,
one more week. I
so
think,
that you have an accurate depiction.
right. Will that represent an approval by both unions and the Board of Selectmen?
I'm going to try to push to get it
Okay,
by a special meeting
by the
before
28th.
Thursday.
Thank you.
well, I think maybe we should meet with that in mind. And also keep in mind where you'd like to be.
I may be out of pocket.
I can.
Thursday.
Okay.
I got a phone call this morning, so nothing is final.
not around?
I might be on a plane to Asheville Monday morning. I don't know yet.
Well, San Francisco.
I'll see you when you. Actually, ours is
But I'll be back
private.
on Wednesday.
Mine's a private shuttle, so I won't see you at the airport.
I think, yeah, unless people have more, there's a lot to digest.
I mean, I'd like the week to think about it, if that's what
Yeah,
you're asking,
no,
Brian.
no,
I'd like
yeah,
the week to think about it.
absolutely.
Yeah,
And then next week, hopefully we'll know what the union negotiations are, that's how they affect the current budget,
right. That'll adjust this. We'll have that reset.
right?
But in the meantime, we can think about this. It's either gonna stay the same, go up or down.
Yeah.
So
Let's say 65K.
what do
I
we
think it's reasonable to
Say
say we're heading up.
Right, no.
but we also, obviously I'm not on board, but I think we may want to take another pass-through revenue too.
Say again?
Revenue
There's
fund.
probably a few revenue lines that deserve to be poked at again.
Okay, well,
But to give you, just as we break here, like 100,000 is 0.13 of a mil.
Yeah.
So you want to move a quarter of a mil, you gotta find $200,000.
Yeah.
It's just back of the napkin.
Right.
Oh, sorry, say that again, 100,000 is what?
Every 100,000 reduction in cost reduces the mill rate by 0.13.
Yeah.
That's what we said right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, one, two.
I gotta go back to the agenda, sorry, then we can wrap up. We have citizen comments again. I lost everything. Here it is. Okay, before we break out of here, everybody's good, everybody good with where we are, budget workshop boys?
What,
Is
Steve
Steve
saying
okay?
something?
I don't know,
Yeah.
that's what I was asking. Steve, are you okay?
Yeah, I think we're good for this evening. I think we're,
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got a couple quick things we ran over. Item number 8, citizen comments. Are there any, we'll start in the room again. Are there any additional citizen comments? In the room?
I know I'm not a citizen.
Please make your comment.
If we run into April 2nd, we already have interviews scheduled for the new principal at the high school. That's my only worry on that day.
Okay.
And they will run into the night.
We have, this is the 2nd and the 4th. You see where we are on the 28th. Got 2 more hours, so I'm feeling
Okay.
like the 28th is gonna give us 2 hours. And then my recommendation would be to go to the 4th,
Okay.
because I'm not gonna be around on the
Oh,
2nd.
good. Well, that's good.
But I'm on voice, but I think we got a lot of
I
time.
go
Thank you
along
for
with
that.
that.
We'll wait for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that,
You have a
Brian.
problem with that?
No,
I
I
have a
didn't-
problem with that either.
Any other
I
citizen-
feel excited.
Any other citizen comments?
No, we're
Okay.
close enough. No,
Sorry,
we don't-
Kaylee, please state your, no, we know it's Kaylee, but your address. Your address.
Keely Beck, 685 Fabian Road. I didn't get a chance to say anything last time, but thank you guys for being so welcoming this round. We're having some good laughs over here. And I'm also following along, looking at my notes. I'm really happy with how things went today, I guess. As a citizen.
Super. Thank you for the feedback.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah. Anyone on the Zoom, any citizen on the Zoom would like to make a comment? Valerie Clark has her hand raised. Valerie, please state your name and address, please.
Valerie Clark, 105 Elm Road, and I'm going to do the best I can to keep this in my time limit. I'm going to work reverse chronologically. Almost 9% increase is a lot. And keeping in mind, and I'm going to keep repeating it throughout the process, remember that Teague came and told us that 17% of our population is requiring services from Teague, which include help with food, rent, shelter. We don't want to send more people and increase that percentage by increasing the taxes to the point where people can't afford to live. And then I have some recommendations. And I don't know if this is possible, but on the education side, and maybe you already have this tab, but an insurance tab that would typically be is presented in terms of whatever contracts are available on the health insurance, like individual, 2-person and family. And then those would be expressed as number of subscribers per contract and the breakdown for each of the schools. I think that would help answer some of Rob's questions. And then if you can add columns for average salary for the prior year and the current year, that also might help with the salary questions. And then again, I don't know if this is something that's possible, but it strikes me that there are base education costs and then items that are a result of special accommodations for IEPs and things like that. If there were a way to make items so that it was clear what items were being added because of the IEP expenses. So that's on the school side. And then I had a question on the town side because it wasn't clear to me. there was nothing in the retirement benefits, and I don't know what that includes. So maybe the people that retired last year weren't eligible for whatever that was, but we had 2 in the tax office, and then I heard this week that there's another retirement in the rec department. And on the dog warden, and maybe we talked about this at another meeting, but for the mini split, it seems like there's an offset somewhere for heating costs. Because we increased electric, but there should be an offset somewhere for the heating cost. And I've only got 2 more things. On the loader, and I think Rob already noted it, but we're making a commitment to purchase that now and pay for it in the 2026 budget. I just get worried because we hear that the cost of that loader goes up every time, as well as the time that it takes to deliver it. So I'm hoping that someone can bring that up as a purchase decision in a non-budget meeting. And then the other item that I guess isn't for this meeting, but I haven't heard much about the River Mill and the tax collection on the River Mill, and it would be good to hear somewhere where that stands. Thank you.
Thank you, Valerie. Any other citizen comments on the Zoom? Tara, yes, please state your name and address.
Tira Penn, Blaine Road. I can actually answer the question about the River Mill taxes. Is that
I would actually, if you don't mind, Tara, we could take that up next week. I just don't,
yeah, that's no problem.
thank you. Any other citizen comments? Okay, hearing none, any board of member of finance comments? Steve, any comments?
No, thank you for asking. I think we took some cuts there. Some of those things were needed, but we also have to balance that against the magnitude of the increase. I think we did a reasonable job.
Thank you, Steve. Anyone else at the table?
Yeah,
Any
if
comments?
Nikki can't make the second, then we shouldn't have it.
Okay. I can't make
Do
the
you feel
second.
better now?
Neither one.
Thank you,
I know.
thank you,
I think we're good for the 28th.
He doesn't want to take another meeting.
No.
Okay, I have nothing to add. Thank you, thank you.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Adjourned, 9:08.